The robot is expecting me. Oh my god, look at them vibrate. Look at them vibrate. What the fuck just happened?
Henry, I'm glad you came.
Wait, did I... Hang on. Let me check my own footage from earlier. What the fuck happened? It was nighttime. Did I imagine that? Wait. So, I left it paused. So, it was nighttime when we left off earlier. Maybe the game's just gaslighting me, or maybe I'm imagining it. I could have sworn while I was eating lunch that my pause screen was during the daytime for a while there. And then it was nighttime, and then they were vibrating, like as if time had passed or something. And then it said that he was waiting for me, as if as if no time has passed, guys. I paused the game at the end of the last recording, then went off to eat lunch, then came back. And that we just saw happened. And then it said that there was time? And I'm like, the game was paused. Doesn't the game pause when it's paused? But it seems like time passed while it was paused, even though everyone was standing still, because no one can move, because it pauses the simulation. I feel like a lunatic. What is happening right now? Does pressing the start button pause the simulation, but not the time of day? This might require further testing at some point in the future. Let's make a new save, so I can revert to previous location sometime, perhaps. That was weird. Anyway, that's not what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about that I got a story related to this game a little bit due to my lunch break. So we've been walking around all these populated areas, and I keep finding weird piles of what look like poop and straw or dirt or something like that. Just weird blobby mounds that shouldn't be around here really, but they're in every town I ever go to. In fact, we walked across one of them when I was starting my date with Teresa, before she walked into a tree and then walked into a wall and then ceased to exist. You know, normal date stuff. And I've been wondering what those were, and in the back of my head I'm like, is that manure or something? Because I'm like, shit, it's everywhere. Or is it like human waste? Like, it could be the human waste that's just all over the place or something. Also, that cloud, light does not affect that cloud. So I was like, maybe it's human waste, maybe it's manure, maybe it's something. Go to my surprise, I'm going out to the freezer in the garage to grab something for lunch, and I look, the door's open, and I'm like, oh, that's unusual for the garage door to be open. And so my roommate is standing in the driveway, and behind them is a mountain of crap. Not literally crap. I would then learn that it was, it's mulch, which is, like, blended up, like, cut up, like, plant matter you use for gardening purposes, because she's been taking up gardening lately in the backyard. She has, she meant to just get some mulch, because they offer mulch for free. And, she's like, yeah, sure, bring it over. And she got it turned out to be an entire, like, back of a trailer's worth of mulch is in our driveway right now, and she was not prepared for that. That's not what she expected. She's now under fire from the homeowners association. She has to spend basically the next 2 days just shoveling this, like, impossible quantity of mulch. It looks like a gravel truck, like, pitched over backwards and just dumped everything in our backyard, in our driveway, except it's mulch. So I guess that answers my question about what that stuff is I see everywhere. So it still could be human waste or manure, knowing the era, but maybe it's all piles of mulch I'm seeing everywhere in this game, because now I've seen a pile of mulch up close. It's like my house is trying to cosplay as this game or something. I guess we don't have to wait, because something happened that made the time pass one way or another.
There was precious little in it, and we could have lost everything.
That's how it goes in war. But God stood by us. And in the end, they're nothing but a bunch of filthy cutthroats. They're sneak thieves and assassins. But does that make them real soldiers?
Well, they're apt to wait till a man nips off into the bushes to relieve himself. lifts up his chainmail tunic and stab him in the back. Personally, I'd rather face a proper soldier.
Because you know just who you're up against. That's probably why Toth is giving us such a hard time.
Is something the matter?
A few of them have taken to their heels. If they stop in Kuttenberg, I'll be glad enough. But I fear they may have other plans.
If those were the best of Istvan's men, they could be lurking in the woods. They'll probably wait to attack us at the worst possible moment.
My fear exactly. I won't breathe easy until Toth is hanging from the gate. But in the meantime, I'll be glad to know the woods at my back are clear. Can I count on you?
Of course, Sir Robert. Would you like me to bring back their gear as evidence they're dead?
That's not necessary. I trust you, Hal. You don't even have to do the killing, just let me know where you find them and that'll be that. There's no need for you to get hurt in the process.
Since Sir Divish's colours still aren't flying over Talmberg, I suppose we'll be attacking.
Just so. That Istvan's a stubborn bastard.
All right, when do we start?
There's no reason to wait. Are you really ready? If you need to rest or anything, we can still wait. You won't have another chance until we've won the day. Or until your final rest.
Am I supposed to deal with the other dudes first, I wonder? He just kind of came up with that out of nowhere. When did they flee, anyway? Was there mention of that?
I'm ready.
Glad to hear it. We're going to attack on two fronts. The north gate and the west wall, which will scale with ladders. The attack will be split into different stages. Taking the outer walls, the inner bailey, and finally the core of the castle and the tower.
How are we going to attack the gate?
We'll try to do as much damage as we can with the trebuchet first. Keyser claims he can even hit it directly. Even if that's true, we'll have to charge through a downpour of enemy arrows all the way to the portcullis.
Portcullis?
Fortunately, it's wooden, so we'll be able to break it down. But dealing with the defense in the bailey won't be easy.
And what's the plan for attacking the west wall?
First, we have to get men to the wall with ladders, which is no easy matter under fire, so we'll need as many men covering them as possible. As soon as the ladders are in place, our foot soldiers will run up and try to scale the wall. Once a few of them get to the battlements, we should quickly gain the upper hand.
How will we take the battlements?
Either by scaling the west wall, or our men at the gate will help. If they can break through, that is.
And the inner bailey?
That will be tough. Even if we get through the gate and into the outer bailey, we're still a long way from victory. The castle is designed so we'll be like hens in a coop to anyone with a bow on the inner battlements. We'll have to either fight our way through, or somehow get around them.
What about the living quarters?
There, I'm worried most about the hostages. Once we're inside, Istvan will know defeat is inevitable, but we'll still have to fight for each and every room.
I think I've heard everything I need to know.
Do you want to join the attack on the walls or on the gate? Remember, many of the Skalitz men will follow you. It could make a big difference.
I'll help with the attack on the walls.
I'm proud of you, Henry. You've changed from an insolent pup into a tough, reliable fighter. And as God is my witness, we will kick those whore sons' arses.
A village lad and an old soldier? Istvan must be shaking in his boots.
If he's not shaking, then he doesn't know what he's got coming. Just one last thing, though. No matter how good the plan is, something always gets fucked up. Keep your eyes open and take advantage of every chance. Help your comrades and don't go rushing in where you're outnumbered. We have to take the castle gradually, one position after another.
I'll remember that.
Good luck to you, stripling.
Good luck to you, old soldier.
I thought we were going to have a choice between gate and a wall, but Henry made it for us, it looks like. Oh well. I imagine all that briefing doesn't really amount to much, and I'm just going to be spawning into a bunch of areas where 10 people fight 10 people, and I help. Basically. I actually feel like I have remarkably little impact on these fights. Let's put that... Nope, no, put the torch away. Pull the bow out. I kind of... Oh, I guess they're getting hit by arrows. Damn. Since when are the archers that accurate? Holy shit, they're just dropping dead everywhere. Holy shit. That's like half our dudes dead, it seems like. I kind of feel like these fights would win if I didn't even try. Like if I didn't even help. Like my team would just win or something. It should definitely go sword, not bow. Because I'm going first. Maybe not the best call. I don't even have a shield equipped, so probably not the best call. Howdy, folks. Nice of you to politely wait for me. You're not dead yet? I hit you a lot. Ow. My organs, I need those to live. You'd politely stop living now. There we go. Somebody's got some bloodshed. He doesn't have a weapon out. He doesn't have a weapon, evidently. God damn, poor guy. I'm not a big fan of the combat in this game in general, but it's extra awkward in these wars where they have the opposite problem that like I had that street side encounter where there was two groups fighting each other and then everyone simultaneously decided, hello, hey everyone, Henry's come to see us, and all attacked me. But these wars have the opposite thing where no one pays attention to me, so I just stab the fuck out of people. Which is actually hard to do without friendly fire sometimes, because I can't control my aim. Because it locks onto people, and then people just walk in front of my sword. I'm like, that wasn't the best call. I wonder if I could stealth attack these guys. Oh, hi. Uh-oh. Am I isolating myself a little bit here? Oh my god. Oh no. I've made a grave mistake. I can't even see right now. It's fine. I'm just gonna go over here real quick if you guys don't mind. You guys don't mind? If you guys don't mind... There we go. We are really outnumbered right now. Might be because I aggroed another group of people. He's dead. Trying really hard not to shoot, not attack the one yellow guy. I'm running out of allies, aren't I? That's not good. Is he running away? Headshot. Ow. Ow. Rude. In the back. That's a lot of blood. I bet that one hurt. That's a lot of blood again. You and me, buddy. We're gonna take them back. We're gonna take back the war. You hit the wall above him. How'd you do that? No, he's running away. Where are you going? Oof. You're having a bad time, buddy. You alright? It's okay. Bernard's invincible. Oh, I hit Bernard with an arrow. Shit. I'm sorry. Is that Hound's Capon? Is that why he won't die? Oh shit, I hit Bernard again. Oh no. I'm faltering at long last with my whole not friendly firing thing.
We've got them! And now from the south, we'll charge
Wow, we had a lot more people at the beginning than we do now. I guess all the Scallots men are dead. Except that one dude, who is not Capon, is just a soldier. Sorry about the arrow, Bernard, but I think you're invincible. In fact, the arrows disappeared already, so yeah, I think you're invincible. Oh, really? I'm in a private area? Good to know. As I invade this war and the frame rate drops. Hey guys. I'm helping. There's no way I'm hitting a target at that range. Oh no, it's just Bernard now. What's the guy's like kneeling weird? Uh-oh. He seems aggravated. Are you aggravated? You and me, Bernard, against the world. Yeah, I might be wrong about the whole this would win no matter what thing I said. Although, Bernard might never die, in which case maybe you would win no matter what. If he is invincible, he would eventually just kill everyone after all. They're piercing arrows, but can they pierce enough? Oh, I mean, that was blood, so it must be working. Boom. New level of skill of bow. It's not good news for you. That means that means each of these arrows does more damage. Not enough though, huh? There he goes. Hey, Bernard. I'm helping. It's a lot of bodies, by the way. Holy crap. It's a good thing Bernard's invincible, because everyone else sure wasn't. Still wondering how they all dropped dead in such high quantities. Like, I am okay with arrows, and they take a lot of shots to die. So why was it that on our approach, like, all of our soldiers died? They just ragdolled on the floor with no visible wounds. There was like 5 dudes just plopped down dead without fighting anyone. Was that 1 arrow each? Because holy shit, mine don't do that. Mine aren't that strong. Come on, get him in the eye hole. Get him in the eye hole. In the eye hole, damn it. No escape. Slow death. They really do just give up on attacking me. Even when they do momentarily aggro. Oh no! Oh, I don't know why I added more to that, but okay. Are any of you guys archers? I'm running out of oh, hey, look, an archer. That one. A wounding arrows. Oh, cool, 26. Good to know. Ow. Rude. Not really ow, though. You didn't hurt me at all. I've actually suffered no wounds in this war so far as I can tell. There goes that guy. Oh boy, collisions are gonna get... Oh, collisions are getting interesting here. This big old pile of bodies. Okay, maybe... Yeah, maybe they shouldn't treat corpses as collision objects for platforming. Ooh, look at those level ups. Look at me. Yeah, we totally had that many soldiers. It's okay, all the recognizable faces live, like always.
Sir, we should give the order.
Let's see if Istvan Toth can worm his way out of this one.
Don't tempt fate, Hanish.
Istvan! It's over! You want us to come and get you?
I wouldn't advise that. Your friend Divish wants to see his wife alive again.
And Sir Radzig? Are both hostages unharmed?
For now, Hanush, unless circumstances change.
I'm glad to hear it. My guest is also safe and sound, but he's also quite keen to go home. I imagine you feel the same way. It's been a long time since you warmed yourself at your own hearth.
I'm in no hurry. I've plenty of supplies here, grand view and excellent company. What more could I want?
Your freedom!
Freedom? Freedom to get an arrow in the back?
Sir, we're all noblemen here, all bound by honor. I give you my word as a knight and lord, and that of my companions. If you release Lady Stephanie and Sir Radzig, you may leave the castle with your men and go on your way unharmed.
And just how far will we get? What good will it do me if your men attack us in the woods instead of here?
If you give me your word of honor that you will leave and never return, I promise you safe passage to the boundary of this fiefdom. What happens after that is up to you and the will of God Almighty.
Very well then, but I want a small safeguard. I'll give you her ladyship, but Radzig comes with me. I'll release him in Skalitz.
Out of the question! Is our word not good enough for you?
Is mine not good enough for you? I swear I'll release him when I get to a safe distance.
I'll go with him, Hanush. Let the Lady Stephanie have her freedom now.
Father!
Don't worry, son. I trust Lord Toth's self-interest more than his word. He wouldn't be fool enough to harm me.
If you're certain, Radzig.
Prepare horses and supplies, and tell your men to pull back. We'll come down.
You heard him. Get to work. And any man who breaks this truce answers to me.
So, are you really going to let them go?
My word is my bond, Henry.
He's a cutthroat and a liar. Good men are dead because of him. What's to stop us from skewering him as soon as he sets foot outside?
Our honor.
If you let him go, he'll do the same again. Or worse.
God's justice will find him. And then he'll get a taste of my mace.
If we break our word of honor, we have none. And without honor, we are nothing. Never fear. Your father will be all right.
We'll hunt down those vermin yet.
Why is Radzig still fully armored? That just seems like a bad idea. Also, we're talking about the word of honor when he got in here on false pretenses. He pretended to be wounded.
Divish.
Stephanie.
Forgive me, husband. I'm sorry
For what?
for letting them into the castle.
Oh, come now, my dear. You're not to blame.
Also,
I
yes,
didn't
you
know
are.
who he was. He said he was your friend.
Never mind. Did he hurt you?
No.
I hope your word can be trusted.
Certainly more than yours.
If everything goes as agreed, I'll set Radzig free in Skalitz. If anyone tries to follow us, I'll kill him.
We won't.
My apologies for keeping you from your father, but you'll see each other soon enough. Oh, I almost forgot. Your sword. I expect you'll want it back after all the trouble you went to. Actually, you know what? I think I'll keep it. As a memento.
This isn't over. I'll find you.
I look forward to it. Yeah!
Quick! To the battlements! We have to see which way they go! Oh, they really are heading for Skalitz. Mount up, Henry.
You've heard what he'll do if we follow them.
We're not going to follow them. We just have to collect your father. Or do you want him to walk back here when they release him?
I'm not putting a lot of confidence in Radzig surviving. Also, I need to stop calling him a Jesus. I thought you were going. What, you're getting off now? Hans. Hans, what the fuck? What are you fuck? What are you doing?
Greetings. What business have you?
Are you fucking joking?
Are you serious?
Are you serious? Is pathing just disabled in this game right now? Like, what the fuck? Whatever. I'll do it myself then if you're gonna be broken. Can't do that right now. Guess I gotta go the long way. Ride with Sir Hans to meet your father. Yeah, I'd love to. I'd fucking love to. But no quest can go unbroken in this game. Not even one. Let's go in the right way, right? No. I have to loop around the back of town. Jesus Christ. You had one job. One job. Which is ride to Scallots while, like, talking or something. Like, some dialogue will play while we go on a linear road to our next objective. The same road we did at the beginning of the game, so it's like well-worn territory. But instead he turns around and gets off his horse and stands still. I feel like an alpha tester. And not only is this game out as a full release, but it's been out for like 3 months now. And it feels like I'm an alpha tester. Not even an alpha tester. Like an internal, like closed alpha, like actual alpha tester. Not like a quote-unquote, hey, Dauntless, if you sign up now and pay for Dauntless, you can play in the alpha, air quotes, air quotes, air quotes. It's an alpha, we swear. The pretend, you know, the whole, like, they call demos alphas and betas now. No, I feel like an actual tester at this point of a game that's not supposed to come out for a year. Because this game needs another year of development at least, just to fix all the shit happening in it. Which is supposed to happen before they come out. And if you're like, well, that's outside of the scope of this kind of company, then maybe they should be doing projects of the scope their company can do. Alright, here we go. Yeah, you were totally ahead of me and I was totally following you. We'll pretend.
There's no sign of them. Move on.
Oh, they're all farmers! They're all farmers in the cutscene! Now they all disappeared! Oh, even the cutscenes aren't working.
I'm glad to see Istvan kept his word, sir.
Not half as glad as I am, Your Grace.
Well, we kept our word too. And now Toth has had his head start and he's fair game. Which way do they go?
To the north, but I would be careful, Sir Hans.
Fear not, Your Grace. I've twice as many men as he. Well, I won't keep you any longer. I'm sure the two of you have a lot to say to each other. Let's go!
Are you alright, Father?
I am. They treated me quite decently. Although they did steal my horse, so I'll have to go back on foot.
You don't have a Y button? Press the Y button.
It looks like it's all over.
Not by a long shot. It won't be over until we get this mess cleared up.
And catch that bastard. How could we let him go?
Would you rather we killed him? Even if it meant Lady Stephanie and I died too?
No, of course not. But what was to stop us from killing him after the exchange?
Honor?
Honor?
If the word of honor of a nobleman could not be trusted, then he would never have agreed to the exchange.
And where's the honor in abandoning your son?
You know how it is. We were young. It happened. And I couldn't marry a commoner. Then your father, Martin, came along and took care of both of you.
Well, he knew it.
What? That I was your father? Certainly. He was a great man. He took you as his own. And always kept an eye on you. Of that you can be sure.
I know so little about his past.
He told you nothing? Oddly enough, even though you don't have his blood, you're very like him. When he was around your age, he became bored of his trade and set out to see the world. He lived through many adventures, even fought in a war.
In a war?
Yes, in Poland, I believe. And I don't think he cared much for it.
That's why he wanted me to stay at home.
He spent some time in Prague, then settled in Kuttenberg. But it seems he quarreled with someone there and finally ended up here. You know the rest.
I loved him, but even so, I somehow always had a feeling I didn't quite fit in.
It was in your blood, I suppose.
I lost the one thing I had left from him. Your sword.
Ah, the sword. It's not my sword. It's yours. For a moment there, it was so near, yet so far. Oh, well, it can't be helped.
It was almost within my grasp, but just then I had something else on my mind.
Well, I think we may yet have a chance to get it back. This business with Toth is not yet over, unfortunately.
That's a chance I'd welcome. Not just to get the sword, but that bastard Istvan too. And then I'll find that German whoreson who torched Skalitz, and I'll slay him with it. I'll never forget his face. Or his name. Mark Vart von Aulitz.
Those are noble intentions, son. But don't forget there are other things in this world that are worth living for.
Like what?
Look around you. Blue skies overhead, green grass underfoot, beautiful girls. Good wine, a few good friends, and a fine steed under your backside. Those are things worth living for. Though I can't deny that swine who killed your mother must pay for what he did. But it's better not to dwell too much on that at the cost of those other things. On the subject of steeds, I think we'll have to ride like the Knights Templar.
How's that?
2 up. One day I'll tell you how they got their seal. You can take the front. It's like I always imagined it would be, teaching my boy to ride. Although it would be better if you were a little smaller. My word, it's all go today, isn't it? I wonder who this is.
Are people supposed to be on those horses?
I think I know. It's Margrave Jobst.
No, it's a stampede.
King's cousin? I wonder what he wants. I guess we'll find out soon enough.
Wait, it's over? Okay. So the ending of the story is that some dudes took Talmberg for a bit, and then we took it back, and then I find out who my dad is, and then it's over. What was the central plot of this game? I'm not even being facetious. I'm trying to think of what the plot of this game was. Like, what was the thing that the game is about and that you're supposed to accomplish? So we have not avenged our not father and mother's death. We have not gotten the sword. We never encountered Sigismund. The Sigismund Wenceslas conflict is not dealt with. I don't know. It's like the beginning of the hero's journey, where it's like, the hero has a normal life, a quiet life. Oh no, status quo is disrupted and they are forced to begin their journey, their hero's journey. And then stuff happened. Like some side quests happened, some main quests happened. The difference between a main quest and a side quest was almost incomprehensible because it's just me doing stuff, fighting some bandits, doing a little battle here and there. I couldn't even tell you for sure which quests were side quests and which ones are main quests with 100% certainty out of memory, except for the obviously the big sieges and big battles are all main quests, of course. So wow. So that part that part where the pathing broken hands just stood there and didn't come with me was literally the last piece of gameplay in the game, and it broke. It was the last piece of gameplay that everyone will, no matter what, encounter, and that happened. Huh. Alright. Well, this has been Kingdom Come Deliverance. It has the makings of an interesting game, but it needs like another year of development just to be a functioning, reasonable release that is of any, like, reasonable quality for consumers to purchase with money, which it is not. I felt like a tester the entire time I played it. It also feels like the story's not finished, because it just seems to stop when it feels like. Okay. And as far as I can tell, a lot of your progression actually was kind of pointless. Like, you have a progression system, but all of the main story stuff is so scripted and so just whatever that, like, I think during many of the main story missions you could just sit there and they would just resolve themselves. Like those battles, I feel like you would just win. I might even test that to find out whether or not you would just win if you stood still the entire time and let the invincible people just win the fight for you. So like normally in an RPG you build up all these skills so that those skills are tested at various parts of the game to do things. But for large chunks of the story, stealth is not a valid option. Dialogue checks are often non-existent during main missions and only show up during side missions in many cases. Dialogue choices did make that whole monk part way easier though, because I could just not have to deal with the people that are like, hey, go back to where you're supposed to be. So that was one chance where some stealth and dialogue came into play, but it was like one mission. But then if your combat skills don't matter because the fights just win on their own, then even there you're like, I don't know what your character build is meant for. You also don't need money in this game because you get gear for free. Because throughout the game, every time you do main missions, they're like, here's your armor, here's a sword, here's fancy clothes, here's a horse. Like all of the mandatory things you would need to progress are just given to you. So as far as I can tell, the game doesn't require you to have any particular skills across the board, and whenever it does, it's usually an optional thing or a thing where you're supposed to fail anyway, and it just continues on anyway. Even if you succeed, you fail. And there's not really any diverging paths in the story, and you don't get there's not a lot of roleplay opportunities necessarily. Your skills don't matter. Your gear doesn't matter because they just give you all the gear. Like with stuff like the clothes make the man and quests like that, where they're like, oh man, it's a quest. Oh man, I like when you look at a quest like clothes make the man, you think, okay, it's a quest where I'm gonna have to get fancy clothes to beat this quest, right? And it's like, no, here they are. We give them to you. And then you can just keep those the whole game, and you'll always have fancy clothes. And the most important skill of the entire game is just your speech skill, but that literally gets increased by playing the game, because like you talk to people constantly, and just talking to people raises your speech skill. You don't have to do anything special to increase it. So like, I don't think it functions even on its RPG level mechanics. Like, all that commerce and gear management I was doing was basically for the service of me trying to min-max things and go out of my way to engage in the mechanics, but if I just played through the story linearly, they would never be relevant, and I would get through just fine, which is probably why many people beat this game in like, I think there's a bunch of playthroughs of this game that are over in like 10, 15 hours where they just do the main story and there's no consequence for not being a developed character because you actually aren't really tested as a player or a character most of the time. This game's just so undercooked. It's not ready, both on a technical level and on like a design level. It doesn't work, and like I don't even know. And people were promised all of these like grand scale battles, and like the trailer thing they used, or I don't know if it was for the Kickstarter itself or it was like a production thing after the Kickstarter or what, but they had like this idea that there was going to be like these giant wars where two armies meet on the battlefield, like in an actual field, and there's like 50 people on that side and 50 people on that side, and brah, you know, a war. And that's not in this game. And it struggles to run so much that they put like these small like 8-on-8 skirmishes where it has to drop everything and then go to a loading screen and then teleport you somewhere else for each stage of the fight, like you're playing a series of like Overwatch matches or something. Oh boy, this is, I gotta say, this game is memorable. Like, this game's gonna stick with me in ways that Andromeda and Elex did not, for the weird ways that it's broken, just because it's so fascinating and diverse. It's like a Sonic game in the weirdness, where Andromeda and Elex were kind of rote in what was wrong with them, and they were kind of flat. This game is a colorful, vibrant mess. It is like the Sonic game, where Sonic video games, all those 3D ones we play, where every few minutes you're like, holy shit, what's it doing now? Oh my god, I just gotta stick through it to follow the ride. And I've had a great time playing this game. Like, the part of me that loves watching this weird train wrecks has been having a fantastic time. This is the Sonic 06 of RPGs. Whew. Let's see if there's an epilogue.
Doing well, son.
Father.
Come now. You know who sired you.
That doesn't matter now. I miss you, Amar. I miss you very much.
You'll be fine. We're proud of you.
For what? I let you down. I lost the sword. I let that bastard get away.
Don't be so hard on yourself. There was nothing you could have done to save us. And someone has to live and carry the torch. As for the sword, it's just a thing.
You didn't want me fighting.
Now look at me. Standing up to evil isn't the same as sowing its seeds. You did what was right. I have to leave you now.
Oh, please.
You know I can't stay.
Will I ever see you again?
God knows. Make her proud.
Oh, don't go. No.
What on earth were you dreaming about? I couldn't wake you, and it's well past dawn. Sir Radzig wants you at the upper castle. The lords are in council with Jobst.
Right. I'll go straight away.
What is it?
It's just... I don't know how to address you anymore. All of a sudden you're Sir Radzig's son, hobnobbing with lords and ladies. And here's me, as common as muck.
Oh, give over, you idiot. Do I look like a lord to you?
Not really. You're as much a lord as I am a nun. And I've never looked good in a habit.
Get out of here! Or I'll have you clapped in the stocks.
Who the fuck is that? Did they forget to write a friend character? Like, what? Who is that? I don't know that man. Also, isn't my dad being a pedantic asshole in the afterlife? It's like, you're doing well for yourself, son. Father, you know I'm not your father. You just called me son a second ago. The fuck? You just called me son. It's like, don't call me father. It's like, don't, what the fuck? But who is that guy? Did they have that dialogue written for the ending to be like, oh, yeah, wow, look, it's Henry's changing his station in life. So there's supposed to be like some character that's your friend. And they're like, okay, well, we have that set up for the ending. So now what we need to do is we need to write a character into the earlier scenes of the game who is like another person that's coming up alongside you among like the people working under Sir Radzig and stuff like that. And it's like, oh wow, and you'll be like, while you're like training with Bernard, you'll have like some friend that you're working with, and the two of you like are, you know, that actually are friends and going up through the ranks and stuff like that. And then suddenly it's like, oh wow, you're Radzig's son, and then that whole scene suddenly makes sense at the end of the game in the epilogue where you're like, oh wow, I don't know how to address you anymore. And they come off it, and they're all being all friendly and shit. Because that's you're supposed to make a character to be that person. That's how you had so much time in the story to do that. But instead, literally the moment I got here, you were like, fuck it, go off with the hands cap on. That guy. Just immediately I'm dealing with nobility, and I never had a friend from within the anything. And what's weird is they had friend characters from Skalitz, but none of those people come with you. That's all they had to do was have a. And in fact, it makes even more sense if it's a Skalitz person, because they'd be starting at the bottom too, and they'd also know who Radzig is better because they're from the same town, and they'd be one of your childhood friends. But instead, every single childhood friend in this game scattered to the winds and was just in random towns, which is fine for most of them. But if you're going to have that scene at the end of the game, you should really have one of the Skalitz friends be in this whole thing with you. So you have another character to like or know and care about what happens. They'd be showing up in all those battles, and you'd be like, oh man, I hope things turn out for him. All right, like kind of like what kind of would happen with Capon sometimes. But they can't do that scene with Capon because Capon's already nobility, so he doesn't give a fuck about this change for me, because that just makes him like him, which is not really a big deal, especially since they were already doing the whole thing where I'm some dumb peasant and Capon's all hot shit, and over time he's learning to treat me like an equal. So you can't cross those narratives. So you have to have a Skalitz friend who is in the organization with me to pay off that scene, and then the scene is the payoff of that. Like how far Henry's come in relation to the other people around him, but they forgot to give the game that kind of cast of characters. In fact, this game kind of lacks any like commoner characters that are important to the story. It's just every nobility character and then me. And then like even Teresa, who recovered me, whatever you want to call it, just vanishes from the story immediately and never comes up again unless you specifically do the romance missions, which are in a vacuum and separated from everything else in the game. Oh fuck, I thought we were done. I thought we were done, and you're just blindsiding me with more weird shit. Alright, let's fucking ride this one out. Let's see what they do next. I'm so excited. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alright. Margrave Jobst. I can't wait. You know, the Stampede woman, or man, I don't know. That sounds like a woman's name to me, but I could be wrong. It's Margrave. I don't know how names work. It's not my culture. How are we doing on 100, 100, 120 nourishment? I'm all fat now, but I don't have the fat people condition. I don't have pig mode activated. Wait, what am I dressed as like right now? As a knight? Excuse me, I am nobility now. That means I am hot shit. I don't know if you heard. We're gonna have to dress up accordingly. That's the 21, right? Yep. Did everything? No, gauntlets. Those ones. That's more or less it, right? There we go. I'm all dressed up and ready to go. 'Cause I am nobility. Oh my god. Sorry, I was texting. Wait, where? Okay. I was like, wait, where did you end up when I was in that menu? I've got multiple things to test now. I want to test whether or not you can win that battle by standing still, and I need to test whether or not the time of day changes while you're paused, to see if I'm gaslighting myself or not on that topic.
Ah, Hal. Are you going to the meeting with Margrave Jobst as well?
I am. What about Istvan? I assume...
That we didn't catch him? No. Because if we had, you'd be the first one to know. Have no fear. We'll get him eventually.
I hope you're right. Anyway, let's go and see what Jobst wants from us.
My lords, Christ's blessings on you all.
And on you, Lord Capon.
And this is my son, Henry.
I didn't know you had a son, Sir Redzig.
It came as a bit of a surprise to young Henry, too.
This gentleman here is John II of Liechtenstein, a member of my council.
I'm honored, gentlemen.
Come join us. Margrave Jobst was just about to tell us the reason for his visit. Your Grace?
I'm sure we're all agreed, Your Graces, that all this unrest must come to an end. This kingdom needs a king.
The question is, which king?
My cousin, Wenceslas IV, who is being held in captivity.
I have to confess, my lord, that your answer surprises me a little. If I'm correctly informed, until recently you sided with your other cousin, Sigismund.
That I cannot deny, and I have always stated my position plainly. But times have changed.
How have they changed, Your Grace?
Sir, there is one thing on which we undoubtedly concur, that King Wenceslas, unfortunately, did not inherit his father's gift for governing. Sadly, his failures have cost Bohemia, the nobles, and our whole Luxembourg family a great deal of money and effort.
How did the king let it go so far, damn it?
It's in his temperament. He cares only for wine, women, and the hunt. A king, in fact, who never wanted to be king.
Then why didn't he just let his brother have the crown?
Young sir, the crown weighs heavy when there are duties to be performed, but to surrender it means giving up great privileges too.
But he did surrender power to his brother. When things started getting out of hand, Wenceslas appealed to Sigismund for help in restoring order.
What, you're saying Wenceslas has invited him here?
This is starting to make my head spin.
Actually, it makes sense when you think about it. Sigismund wanted to re-establish the power of the whole House of Luxembourg. He thought if he helped Wenceslas win the imperial crown, in return his brother would help him become the king of the Romans, and leave the actual reign of Bohemia and the empire to him. Sigismund would govern, while Wenceslas could carry on doing what he was best at, enjoying the life of the imperial court.
Why wasn't Wenceslas crowned Holy Roman Emperor long ago? He was already elected King of the Romans. All he had to do was go and let the Pope put the damn imperial crown on his head.
Who knows? Maybe he'd prefer hunting and consorting with bathhouse wenches to spending time with the Pope.
Well, so would I must admit.
Sigismund's plan seemed sound enough, but it didn't quite work out, did it?
It worked for a while. He and his brother reached an agreement. Sigismund took over administration of the kingdom and began planning Wenceslas's journey to Rome for the imperial coronation. But then Wenceslas realized he would just be a puppet with a crown.
I must say, Margrave Jobst, Wenceslas and Prokop behave rather like naughty children in need of a good clout about the ears.
Sigismund would agree. He was already planning his rule of Bohemia, and all of a sudden, the rug was pulled from under him. I'd say he lost his patience and decided he'd drag Wenceslas to the coronation kicking and screaming if he had to. Just like a naughty child, as you say.
So he abducted him and your brother Prokop too, if I heard correctly.
Correct.
And you helped him do it, if I heard correctly.
Yes, your graces, it's true. I was there when Sigismund abducted Prokop. I thought everything could somehow be settled, that we could make my brother see sense. But Sigismund just wanted to put an end to the dispute once and for all, whatever the cost. There was nothing I could do to stop him. And that's one of the reasons why I'm here. The worst of it is that it was all for nothing. Instead of putting a stop to the revolt, it escalated it, and the result is this chaos we have today.
That's true enough, sir. But I must admit now, I'm not sure what your position is. The king is incompetent, but we must protect him?
The simple truth, gentlemen, is that for all of Wenceslas's faults, we have no one else.
So we'll have to make do with his idleness.
People like him, though.
But what can we do now? Sigismund has the League of Lords behind him. Otto von Bergholf, Heinrich von Rosenberg.
The situation has gotten completely out of control. Now even the nobles of the League of Lords are realizing that Sigismund wasn't the right choice.
So now Bergholf is on your side. Are we to assemble an army together with him and face Sigismund on the field of battle?
We're not in Hungary now. Such affairs may be settled elegantly, without unnecessary hostilities or expenses. I have negotiated an alliance with the Hungarian bishops, the Polish, and of course the Czech nobility, against Sigismund. Every day he is losing the ground under his feet, and that's why I need your help too.
What kind of help, though? Sigismund has a massive army, and Rosenberg, Berghof, and Prague are behind him. Do you have an army you could face him with?
But that's not what I mean at all. There's been a revolt against Sigismund in Hungary, partly due to my efforts, and now he'll have to choose whether he wants to gain the Bohemian crown, which is a very risky enterprise, or hold on to the Hungarian one. He can't have both. And there's a tough struggle awaiting him in Hungary. I'm not sure he'll win, and Rosenberg and Berghof know it too. They're not stupid. If the Bohemian nobility stands together, they will turn.
We are men of little consequence, Margrave. Radzig here lost everything because of his alliance with Wenceslas. Sir Divish came within a hair of the same fate. Even Rattay is defenseless against Sigismund and the League of Lords.
What's more, Your Grace, King Wenceslas languishes in captivity in Vienna. He can't rule too well from there.
And what do you propose? To sit with your arms folded till the Bohemian lands are turned to ashes like Skalitz? We have to put a stop to this senseless war!
And do you know, sir, what the true position of the League of Lords is?
I'm not on the best of terms with them at this moment, so you'll have to ask them yourselves.
Yes. Why not? I'll go and visit Berghof at his castle and we'll see what he tells me.
You know, that's not such a bad idea, young sir.
True. Though a little risky.
I doubt Berghoff would harm a blue-blooded envoy. And you can find out what he has to say about developments and what the League of Lords is planning. Then we'll decide what to do next.
I'll help you compose a letter to him.
I'd like Henry to come with me.
Why not? He's proven himself an able investigator, and he'll also be a good bodyguard if anything should happen.
And I'll send Sir John here to Kuttenberg to be my eyes and ears there. I believe both your reports will help us get a better grip on the situation.
When can you set out?
Just as soon as I've packed my things.
Excellent. Margrave Jobst and I will draft a letter. Get ready, and we'll meet back here.
I expect it would be best to write it in your name as Lord of Lipa.
Quite so, Margrave.
What exactly am I to write?
Oh, what isn't really the issue. The question is how. We need to learn where they stand on liberating the king and ousting Sigismund. If they'll make trouble or join our side, but...
But we have to ask in a way that won't leave Sir Capon being run out of the castle with a whip.
Exactly.
How about writing that you're concerned about current events and that you want to see things settled peaceably, and then ask the opinion of the League of Lords?
Very well said, sir. And what they want to do about freeing King Wenceslas.
Whether they think liberating King Wenceslas IV might contribute to resolving the dispute?
And what they plan to do about the god-awful mess in this country.
What steps they envisage taking to end the pillaging of Bohemia by foreign armies?
I couldn't have put it better myself.
Well, I'd also venture to suggest one more. What is their stance on that is, the initiatives of Margrave Jobst of Moravia and a large part of the Bohemian nobility? Whether they plan to take action against them or support their efforts?
You read my thoughts, sir.
He seems odd. It's almost like a guest celebrity voice actor wandered in, and like his animations are totally different, and his voice sounds like it's like the accent seems different. It almost seems like it's recorded on different hardware. Like I can't put my finger on why he seems so strangely separate from the rest of the game, but he does. Huh.
So, it looks like you're off on a mission.
Yes, I can't wait.
I don't want to dampen your spirits, my boy, but watch out. These are evil times, and who knows what can happen along the way. Not to mention that Berghoff is no saint.
Don't worry.
I know. You've shown you can fend for yourself, but do take care. You'll be traveling as Lord Capon's bodyguard. You'll be there to make sure nothing untoward happens to him. Keep your eyes peeled and your ears wide open. What Berghoff tells you is one thing, but what you see may be quite another.
Rest assured, Father.
And don't get embroiled in anything else. Just hand over the letter, hear out his reply, and return.
Yes.
Very well. Berghoff is at Trotsky Castle. I think you'll find it quite an eye-opener. It's one of the finest castles in the land. It's 3 days' ride from here, so unless you hit a snag along the way, you'll be back soon enough. Any questions?
I'm getting a bit lost in the Luxembourg lineage. It all seems a bit too tangled.
The Luxembourgs have ruled the Empire and Bohemia for almost 100 years now. Emperor Charles brought this land to prominence. When he was in power, things had never been so good. Wenceslas and Sigismund are his sons, but by different mothers. Jobst and Prokop are their cousins. They were entrusted with governing Moravia. But instead, they've been in a bitter armed feud for years, and now Sigismund's fallen out with Wenceslas. Wenceslas also had another brother, the youngest, John of Görlitz, who was most probably poisoned. They seem like a hot-blooded lot. It's hard to keep up with their affairs, since they tend to change their alliances from one day to the next.
Who is he really, this Jobst?
The cousin of King Wenceslas. He's the Margrave of Moravia. I admit I don't know what to make of him myself. Until recently, he was allied with the League of Lords. For a time, he even served Rupert of the Palatinate against the king. And now suddenly, he's reversed his position. I don't know what led him to do it, and one can't help being suspicious. It's best to keep a watchful eye on him, but he really is the leader of the resistance against Sigismund these days. We'll just have to see how it all turns out.
So Margrave is just another nobility title that I don't fully understand, not somebody's name, which explains, you know, the whole part where I was like, that doesn't sound like a name.
I'm a bit concerned so many people seem to think so little of King Wenceslas. You knew him, didn't you? What's he really like?
Well, there's no straightforward answer to that question. He certainly makes a great hunting and drinking companion, but he can be very fiery and impetuous when things don't go how he'd like them. He never had much of a head for high office. He finds it tiresome. But once a man's grasped the scepter, it's hard to let it go again. You can't just abscond. You've seen for yourself what happens when he disappears for a few months. Better a bad but legitimate king than a bloody war over the throne.
Who is this Prokop that Job spoke of?
Jobst's brother, the king's cousin. He and Jobst warred over Moravian supremacy for years. Then they were allies for a while, betrayed Wenceslas and sided with Rupert of the Palatinate. But after Sigismund abducted Wenceslas, Prokop fomented a revolt against him, and Sigismund had him captured. Politics. Make of it what you will. I, for one, can't make head or tail of it most of the time.
The League of Lords and that Berghoff we're off to see. Who are they exactly?
The lords of the powerful houses. Heinrich of Rosenberg, Otto of Berghoff, Heinrich of Radetz, and others. They're unhappy with the way their influence declined after Wenceslas surrounded himself with the lesser orders of nobility. They abducted the king years ago and made him bow to their will. They got away with it that time, and now they've joined forces with Sigismund and done it again. But now it seems that Sigismund's behavior is starting to rub them up the wrong way, so they may well be thinking twice. We'll see what Berghoff has to say.
I don't know all that much about Sigismund.
He's the king's younger brother and King of Hungary in his own right. 7 years ago, he led a crusade against the Turks and was defeated at Nicopolis. Some say it was due to the recklessness of the French knights, most of whom were mercilessly slaughtered. Sigismund is ambitious and capable. He might well make a better ruler than Wenceslas, but he's arrogant, and to our misfortune, brutal. Not long ago, he himself was held captive by the Hungarian nobility. They dislike him as much as some of the Czech and German noblemen do his brother Wenceslas. Ironically, Wenceslas joined forces with Jobst to liberate him. And now this is how Sigismund repays his brother. There's no doubt about it, God does move in mysterious ways.
Rupert of the Palatinate. That's a name I hadn't heard before today.
Rupert is the Prince-Elector of the Palatinate.
What's a Prince-Elector?
The Prince-Electors are dignitaries of the Holy Roman Empire who have the right to elect the King of the Romans, who would then be crowned Holy Roman Emperor by the Pope. Rupert took the title for himself with the help of 3 other Prince-Electors, even though Wenceslas had already been appointed. Some of the nobility in the empire recognized Rupert's claim, but when he went to Rome to be crowned emperor, it turned into a fiasco. Now he's doing his utmost to get Wenceslas to acknowledge him, but so far without success. So, now we have 2 kings of the Romans. Jobst sided with Sigismund for a while, but now he's switched allegiance. He seems to do that quite a lot.
That young man, Sir John of Liechtenstein. Why is he here?
The Liechtensteins are a powerful Austrian family, with estates in Austria and Moravia. Sir John sits on Jobst's council. Since the king's being held captive in Vienna, I suppose it makes sense to have a powerful Austrian house as allies. It could be very useful.
That's about all.
Very well. Take the letter from Sir Hanush. And good luck, son. So what do you think of it all, Sir Divish?
I think I don't know what to think.
That makes 2 of us.
If I didn't know anything about Jobst, I'd say he's right and absolutely truthful. But I've heard too much about him already.
Likewise. But I do feel he's the one with the best chance to put things right.
Well, we'll see what we learn from Berghoff. If the League of Lords stands with Sigismund, then our chances pale, in spite of everything Jobst said.
We shall see. We shall see.
I believe we have written it well, gentlemen.
Without a doubt. No one could deduce from this whether we are Sigismund's allies or foes.
I must travel back to Brno now, but soon I will go to Brandenburg and I will stop here on the way back. By then, Sir Capon should be back and we can discuss how to proceed.
Right. Before you leave, my lord, there is one thing that gives me no rest. Why did Sigismund come as a foe? It makes no sense.
If I may, sir, I think I can explain.
Oh, please enlighten us, young sir.
I live not far from Hungary, where Sigismund reigns. It is a savage country, and the constant war with the Turks has hardened the people. They need a monarch with an iron hand. So when Sigismund felt the wind of revolt, he reacted as he would at home. Only what works on the Hungarian nobles does not work here in Bohemia.
Bringing order is one thing, but slaughtering and pillaging with a horde of barbarians quite another. What purpose does that serve?
But Sigismund did give the Bohemian nobles a chance to take his side. It was only when they refused his ultimatum that he lost patience and took to the sword.
As for the barbarians, he could afford nothing better. The Hungarian nobility would gain nothing from joining his campaign in Bohemia. He didn't have enough coin for a regular army, and so he recruited the Cumans. What he does not pay them, they make up for in plunder.
But in the end, he didn't have enough to even satisfy the Cumans. That's why he raided Kuttenberg and Skalitz. He wanted the silver.
That makes sense.
My lords, how's the letter coming along?
It's done.
Then we can be on our way.
Now remember what we said, boy. All you have to do is deliver the letter, listen to the answer, and come back here. Don't provoke Berghoff in any way.
Provoke? Me? Never, Uncle. We'll be back in a few days. Farewell, your graces. Come, Henry, my men are waiting.
I wish you Godspeed.
I think it's unintentional, but the black-haired guy is creepy as fuck, and it's because his voice sounds weird. Like everybody else sounds like they're in a room, but he's so close to his microphone or something. You can hear every sound his like lips make, and you can hear him breathing. And he has no like, I don't know, like reverb or whatever the sound you get when it sounds more like it's in a room. So like there's like a very consistent way everyone was recorded throughout the game, usually. Then out of nowhere, the black-haired guy is like, sounds like a podcast host, where everyone else sounds like a voice actor. Like it's weird how different his recording sounds. Congratulations, you've completed the main story. If you like, you can still embark on side quests or activities, just wander around the world. You can finish the game anytime by joining Sir Hans Capon's squad.
Come now, Hal. My men are mustered in the courtyard. We can get going.
And so he's just gonna stand there forever until we do the real ending. They must be planning sequels or DLC or something. Because they're just being like, hey, click on me to make the ending happen. And it's like a cliffhanger, like, oh, we're gonna go deal with this whole Sigismund problem. But then in like freeze frame, everyone jumps to the air, and a freeze frame and roll credits. Like, it's just, huh. Is that Pebbles? You're not Pebbles, you're Horse. Wait, was that Pebbles? That was Pebbles, I just didn't see the prompt for them. Only my horse has the mane going through. Huh. You made it through the whole game, Pebbles, and you only betrayed me that one time, where you just refused to be a horse. Hi, you seem to be standing inside of... Okay, that's not very godly.
So, can we set off now, Henry?
Of course. I can't wait.
So, to horse! The Lord of Berghoff is bound to be waiting as eagerly. Ah! Watch what you're doing! There's people walking here!
You were walking through my horse, which was completely stationary, you lunatic. Go after Capon.
Are you blind, for Christ's sake?
Hey Capon, how's that pathing going? How's that pathing going? How's that? Where are you going? The road's over here. When did this break? Capon, what happened? What happened to the pathing in this game? Everyone's running north all the time. It's like they can't go in any other direction. They have to run north.
So, how is life as a highborn bastard?
I'm getting used to it.
What about Rodzig? Has he accounted for not owning up to you the whole time?
He explained it. All will be well, I think.
Glad to hear it. It's far more acceptable for a nobleman to befriend a noble bastard than a blacksmith's son.
Mind you, don't come to blows with a blacksmith, my young lord.
Huh.
What do you think about Sir Jobst and his plan?
Well, I admit all the scheming has me a little lost. I thought Sigismund was the devil, Wenceslas a martyr, those on his side the heroes, and those against him the villains. I believed we'd rescue the king and all would be well again, but now it looks a lot more complicated.
Exactly. I didn't expect the noble lords to be as noble as the angels, but I hadn't expected such a sewer. They behave like children.
I can't fathom how after all this backstabbing they're somehow still on speaking terms.
I don't know either. It beggars belief.
I guess I'll just wait to see when their dialogue runs out, and then we might just stop, because I don't think we're gonna.
Did you know that King Wenceslas is such a
feckless drunkard? Not really. And to be honest, I'm not sure I wanted to know. I slept better believing my fate was watched over by a wise and powerful monarch.
So did I.
What a dismal world when you can't keep trust in your own king.
On the other hand, times were better with him here than with him gone.
Isn't that the truth?
Okay, how weird is that, by the way? Like, the basic premise of this game is that Wenceslas is a shitty ruler, so Sigismund dethroned him and captured him, but also that happened when Wenceslas wanted help, and he invited Sigismund to help him, and Sigismund betrayed him. Like, I've known that, like, the entire game, and it's like a reveal at the end of the game? How? What?
What do you think of Sigismund?
If I were him, I'd have had enough of my brother even sooner.
But he's a monster. Look at what those hordes of his are getting up to here. What he did in Skalitz.
True enough. On the other hand, if Wenceslas and Prokop hadn't double-crossed him, none of this would have happened.
No one forced him to burn Skalitz.
That's a fact. But he couldn't let them shit all over him either. Not that I'm defending him, mind.
He's a weasel.
No doubt about that.
Do you know anything about Prokop?
Ha! Sir Hanush could tell you a thing or two about him.
Why?
Last winter, a certain Sir Jan Sokol of Lambert, a well-known knight, or robber baron to some, tried to occupy the city of Iglau, which was on the orders of none other than Prokop.
And what has that got to do with Hanush?
Well, he was there with him. Of course, that's not something to brag about in front of Jobst.
And what was it all about?
They wanted to occupy a city that was on the side of the League of Lords, but despite there being several hundred strong, they didn't take it. For one thing, they couldn't get past the Iglau women, with their pitchforks and cauldrons of hot water.
I would never have thought of Sir Hanush as such a rebel. And have you heard anything about Rupert of the Palatinate?
A little. He can't manage even to wrest power from a king who doesn't much care for ruling and isn't fighting back. That doesn't seem like a man who has what it takes to rule. And that's all I need to know.
And that Berghoff we're going to see, do you know anything about him?
I haven't heard much good about him, but I have a feeling that some other nobles are quite in awe of him. And his castle is apparently quite impressive. I'll be interested to see for myself.
And what about the League of Lords?
Wealthy, pompous. The king doesn't seem to like them much. He's chosen to let the lesser ranks of the nobility into his circle, men like your father. I admit I don't blame him one bit. But the lords weren't happy about their lost influence, so they put their foot down. If I were Wenceslas, I'd have let them hang after they abducted me the first time. But he gave them seats at the provincial council. Little wonder they're back at their old tricks.
I think they're done. I think they're done. All right. Well, I guess I will cut it here and look up a video of where we actually end up and ride there, and maybe that'll make the cutscene happen, and that'll break. And then the oh, cool. There's a thing over there. Is it the go after Capon objective is there? Oh my god. He just disappeared when I opened the map. Oh, I'm fucking breaking. What is happening in this game? I opened the map and he just teleported to the destination. Past Neuhof. Oh boy. I just don't even have words anymore for how broken this shit is. How? And why? And what? Is that why the map is so laggy? Because it literally loads and unloads elements of the game whenever you open it as like a bug fix slash like resource manager, so it's using your map opening as an excuse to optimize the game and fix problems or something? Because he just teleported. Or maybe they knew the game broke constantly, so they added a bug. They added a solution where opening the map is like a in the moment like reset button that helps fix things that otherwise would not be fixable without like a reboot or something. I wonder if that's actually like a solution they implemented on purpose. My goodness. Alright, game, what else you got? I'm ready. Hit me with it. Hit me with it. Hello there.
How about it, Henry? Can we go? Are you ready for this?
Of course. At last I'll get to see more of the country and have a bit of an outing.
Quite!
Why did we even make camp?
Let's get to it then. I finally have the feeling we're doing something worthwhile. We're helping to save the king.
Instead of saving his drunken majesty, I'd rather find that whoreson who murdered my parents, get the sword back from him, and skewer him with it.
Cheer up, Henry. I have a feeling you'll get your chance one day, and it won't be long in coming. Forward, men! Audentes fortuna juvat!
Ta-da! And it's 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out with the WRPG. Oh boy. All in a row. Andromeda, Elex, and Kingdom Come Deliverance. Huh. Continue, I guess. Alright, so this is fascinating. What a state this genre is in lately, huh? So just you'll always be kicked back here. So whenever you want to, you can ride back over here and witness that ending again. But we'll always be canonically leaving them camping here until in the meantime while we wander around the countryside and well, might as well deal with that one loose end then, I guess. The one thing I don't know what state it's in. Ledechko and the spirit. So, look forward to another Another RPG tomorrow. Technically another Western RPG, I suppose. I don't know what people count as what anymore. Tomorrow, we're going to be playing The Surge at long last. Which has had similar responses of some people being all hype about it and calling it their game of the year, and other people being like, fuck that game, fuck it, fuck it. And, man, our opinions all over the place. Just all over the place. And I've been looking forward to finding out where my opinion will land for a long time now. I just haven't had the opening in my schedule. And I'm just deciding that now's the time, I suppose. And, also a DLC came out. A few DLCs. Well, one real DLC and then some, like, item packs or whatever. So I'll be playing the DLC, too, while we're at it. And, I'll finally get to know what I think of The Surge. And also, it's a Dark Souls type game, so in fact that's like the intended goal of it. So of course I gotta play it sooner or later, so might as well get around to that. After that, we might start delving into some older Western RPGs. Cause I could would be nice to play a good one. It would be nice. So I might be delving into the genre's history instead of its present for a little while. Maybe some Knights of the Old Republic, or Pathologic, or even Pillars of Eternity, or Jade Empire, or Baldur's Gate, or Torment, Tides of Numerina, or Numenera, or the Planescape Torment, or you know, stuff. The Temple of Elemental Evil, the first CRPG I ever owned, but I was like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand this, and I ran away. But I have that on GOG now, and I'm like, hey, look, nostalgia. Let's find out what I missed out on when I was like 12, and when I was like literally like, I'm 12, and what is this? Which is my actual basic response to when I saw that game. Yeah. Hello, Drahomira. I see you've got your shawl on, so we can't see through your body anymore. Maybe that's also why they never fixed that issue. Is anybody else her proportion in this entire game, actually? I don't know, I'd have a lot of people to try to remember. I remember a lot of skinny women and a lot of old women. I don't remember somebody shaped like her anywhere else in the game, so maybe it's a her-specific problem, and that's why she has the shawl in the first place? Huh.
We cast a spell over Lada's grave. It wasn't for the faint of heart.
Mary, Mother of Mercy. And not even that helped.
What? Do you mean to tell me it was all for nothing?
Only the Lord himself can help me now. I'll need the parish priest.
Well, why didn't you go and see him right at the start?
What would he think of me? Herbalists have always handled ghosts. But now what other choice do I have? Go and ask him what I can do.
Fine. I'll go and see him. But I swear this is the last thing I'm doing for you.
You have my gratitude. Take a few groschen for everything you've done for me so far. Once the ghost is gone, you'll get more.
Ah, damn. Just throwing money at me, huh? Now we're going once again to Father Godwin. Oh yeah, he was at that whole war scene earlier. Forgot about that. He went to the war location to bless people, and he didn't show up in any of the scenes after that. He's... Yep. He's still at Talmberg. Welcome to the Epilogue, where we finish the one loose end quest that I wanted to deal with, but who knows if it'll be worth it at all, but, you know. Seems weird to leave it dangling after all this time. And hey, I get to check in on Godwin, all the way up here in Talmberg, where he's still at a camp, even though it's over? I guess the war... What the fuck? Why are you guys sneaking? I'm sorry, what's happening here? Why are you guys sneaking? We took the city back. They're all sneaking up like the war is happening right now. Dude, it's, we're here. The war's over. Oh, boy. Alright. You guys do you, I suppose. But yeah, I suppose a ton of people died. So even afterwards, Godwin might have more people to bless and bury and other godly duties. It's interesting to contextualize for me because I don't have any beliefs related to any of this stuff. So I'm just like, he's just in my head. He's doing literally nothing because I don't like none of these things make any sense to me. So I'm like, Godwin's here to point at stuff and say things to dead people. Except for the burying part, obviously. That part's like, yeah, you're burying people, or if he's healing people. But that's your job, Nicodemus. How you doing? Never mind. No dialogue for Nicodemus. He was there you go. I'm like you were just here.
I'm glad to see you. There's a widow being haunted by a ghost. Can anything be done about that?
A revenant? Tell me more about it.
For the last few nights, her long-dead neighbour has been paying her a visit in her house. She's tried to drive him out, but neither prayer nor spells have any effect. That's why she's turning to you for help, Father.
In the scripture, it's written that the dead shall rise again only on the day of judgment. I suspect it may be something on the widow's own conscience that's haunting her. Do you know anything more about that?
Well, she says it's the ghost of Alois, a farmer whose wife burned him alive in his own cottage.
My. That would make a soul restless, all right. But I believe there must be something else that's keeping the widow from sleeping. A farmer, a jealous wife. I'd ask the widow if there's not more to it.
My God, that never occurred to me.
How little you know people. Make the widow tell you everything, you'll see. And to make amends with the deceased as well as the Lord, tell her to erect an atonement cross.
A what?
You ask as if you've fallen from the stars. An atonement cross. You often see them along roads. Reminders of reconciliation and forgiven trespasses. Suggest it to the widow and see how she reacts.
Thank you for the advice. It was very helpful.
I shall pray for the poor woman, and I'll be grateful in turn for any donation she may decide to make to the church.
I'm almost surprised it didn't make another 375 groschen for some reason. Because every time I do anything, it seems like lately that just happens again. I updated her on like how nothing happened. She updated me on how nothing happened, and she's like, go talk to the priest. Then she gave me 375 groschen again. I'm like, how do you have that much? Isn't that like a completely unreasonable amount of money for normal people to have? It said fail, and then I fled anyway. What? What happens on the screen feels like I hit... What the fuck? Whoa. What's the wheel? Oh, look at the little water wheel. Aw. Neat. Alright, everything's broken in this game. Everything's fucking broken in this game. Nothing works. Every mechanic has its own bugs. It's fascinating. When I'm on the map, I hit B, which is the flee, or avoid, or don't engage button, and it says fail. And then I leave anyway. Like I leave anyway on the screen without coming back to this. So I succeeded, apparently, but it says fail. But then it says I have 100%. Then I come up with something where you don't even have to run away from it. It's just like, hey, you want to look at this or not? It's a weird thing on the road, like a carcass. And I hit B, which says ignore and leave. And then it makes me look at it. I'm like, what the fuck? It's literally the game's ignoring its own results and then ignoring what I say. Like, just completely nonsensical things are happening on the map segments. What the fuck?
I saw the parish priest.
And what did he tell you? Will he come and bless my house with holy water?
A better question is, what haven't you been telling me?
I've already told you everything.
Henry, I'm glad you came.
I feel you haven't told me everything. Was there something between you and Alois?
There's no use denying it any longer. I was a widow and his wife, Lada. She wasn't the kind of woman who filled her husband's heart with joy. Alois and I grew close.
So, fornication?
if that's what you want to call it. From time to time, we took comfort in each other's arms. Ladder found out and began to make a fuss. They fought. You know the rest.
You couldn't have known it would end up the way it did.
Perhaps I couldn't, but I still reproach myself over it every night. For years now, I've been living with what I did. I suppose it's only just that it's finally caught up with me. My poor Alois and the children he left behind.
I assume his children know nothing about it.
They're already adults, but you're right. They don't know anything. Do you think it would help if I told them everything? That it would bring peace to Alois and he'd stop haunting me?
I think you're on the right path now. Make up for old wrongs. Atone for your sins. Erect a memorial cross.
You're right. I'll go and tell them the truth, however much they despise me afterwards. I'll do anything to get a good night's sleep again. Here's some money. Go to the quarry and order a cross be made.
I'll do that.
Thank you 100 times over.
Yes, she only has 10 groschen, but she gave me 375 earlier. 5 groschen is like, I can survive today money. Like, how do people have like so much groschen to give me sometimes? I can only imagine it's just the game giving me a weird reward proportion to something. So the 375 number shows up a lot. Also, goddammit, this entire quest ended up just being... it was just her guilt. She's just guilty over what happened. She caused... she helped somebody cheat on their wife, and then the wife found out and killed both of them, and she feels guilty. So it's just her specter of torment is just it's just guilt over what happened. And like it's literally that's the first thing I would have defaulted to. But no, let's break into a goddamn monastery and steal the actual Necronomicon that apparently actually exists, and jump through crazy loops to get to one of the rarest, hard-to-attain items in the game, apparently, and all to find out that it was for nothing. Because actually, she's just guilty over causing someone's death, and she just wouldn't tell me that up front, and no amount of my speech skills would cause that to be revealed earlier. I couldn't just get her to tell the full truth, even though I think we already did speech checks where I asked her the full truth, and they just didn't really work. And now she's just going to admit her guilt and what happened and her part in things to the people that are still around that it affects, and she's going to erect a cross and just, you know, do her penance, and maybe she'll sleep better at night. And it was never a ghost, it was literally always just her nightmares over what she did. And I could have told her that from the beginning. It's kind of obvious, because that's how reality works. But Henry's stupid, apparently, and can't think of such things. Oh, Henry. Henry's here to see us. Henry's here to see us, as I stand over this guy at his bed, staring at him for 10 hours, without needing food or water or rest. Come back here, farmer. Transform back into the quarryman. I need a quarryman right now. There you are.
Henry, I'm glad you came. I must reward you for saving my livelihood. If folk believed the stories, well, I dread to think how it could have ended up.
But the bad stone wasn't even from your quarry.
Still, sometimes words can hurt a man more than a blow from a mace. Here's your reward. You've earned it, lad.
I need to erect an atonement cross. How much does one cost?
10 groschen. We already have one such cross ready, so if you pay now, we can have it sent wherever you want immediately.
Here you are.
What do you think? Will he come again?
I'm sure we've seen the last of him. Oh, I feel so light. I could float away at peace with the world.
That's a peace I have yet to find. As you've seen for yourself, shaking off the past isn't easy.
Here's a ring my husband left me. I don't even know where he got it, but it might be worth something. Take it, with my gratitude.
I'm glad I was able to help.
Thank you, and God be with you.
And with you. I hope you'll finally have peaceful dreams.
20 groschen. Why did I make 375 earlier when I talked to you? That's weird. Because, like, 10 groschen is enough to make a giant stone cross and haul it across like a day's journey away, presumably with a horse and cart, and then have 2 men erect it. That's 10 groschen. So how am I getting 375 groschen half the time as rewards, even from the people who are paying me that much? Oh well. One last mystery in a game full of nightmarish mysteries. Let's just stand here for a second and look at this, because this is probably the strength of the game. This looks so nice. Look at this really nice landscape. A bubbling brook going down along a windy road. Wibbly wobbly grass. The landscape fades into the distance, turning pale and blue. Yeah. This is a good scene. Pity about everything else.